All right, back in Cobble Climbs for the second time in a week. This time it's for Zwift Racing League, the fifth race of round three. So a little bit different than the ladder race last week in that we're doing the full 3 laps, not just the 2.5. And this is a points-based race, so we have first across the line and fastest through segment points available on both Libby Hill and 23rd Street. So the fastest through segment is probably going to happen on the first lap. They generally do when there's a points, and that's going to be the first big split in this race as well. That's usually generally when there's a quick climb. That's generally what happens. So we're coming up here. We'll be turning on to Libby Hill just shortly. No one's doing too much early in the race. Everyone's saving themselves for the climb. And once we hit that, that's when sort of everything's going to explode. And then all the different groups will break up. So here you go. I've just slowed it down a little bit as I usually do on key segments. So here the climb hasn't officially started yet, so I'm just kind of hanging out in the back. I don't want to be too far back, but I don't want to be right at the front, out in the wind. Just getting a little bit of draft, but there are some people who are using the burritos early. Even though there's not a ton of draft on a steep climb, it still does have some effect. I've saved myself for the last bit on this climb where it gets a little steeper. People generally get tired out a little bit. So here I'm sixth, seventh, um, and I just come across the line here in sixth place. So my FTS was six. So unfortunately, just out of the points because it's only top five now for the fastest through segments. So here it chills out a little bit just between the two segments, as it usually does. Everyone's a bit tired after pushing so hard, but we see a group just over 20. And now we're going to turn right and go back up on 23rd Street climb. Shorter climb, but still super hard. I wasn't able to really get a great time on this one, and generally even my FAL points fairly low. But the nice thing is that after this, everyone kind of chills out on this downhill. Everything regroups. We have a smaller group here, but still, this is the one that's going to stick for the rest of the race. Even on Governor Street climb here, there's no big move. Andrew goes off the front a little bit here from Herd, but it's pretty far out. I somehow get on the front, but I'm not chasing it. We don't have the numbers for the team in this one, so I'm just going to sit in and hope that the group catches. Here, a couple of people fly off the front. Again, I'm not pushing too hard to make sure. I just want to make sure they don't get totally dropped, but stay within this group, as I have pretty confident that that will come back together. Another time here, Rick goes off the front on the downhill, but we are able to catch up. Just the group dynamic and the packs and the draft going downhill. It's pretty easy to catch if there's any motivation at all. So I've got stuck with the burrito going through the lap banner here, and not going to be too useful going up the climb. I think the plan is I'll just hold on to it to the top and then just put the burrito on as I go through the banner just to slow down anyone who might be in my draft over the top on that flat section going into the downhill. Slowing down slightly here again. So the other group did catch up just before the climb, so we're still in the mid 20s. Same thing here. I don't want to go in the front too early. I just want to be towards the front of the pack, but not at the front, and just save myself. Jim did catch up from my team, so he's with us on the second climb here, which is good to have another teammate in the group and not just be, if you're stuck alone in a group, whether it's first group, second group, or third group, it's always much more fun to have a teammate rather than be alone. So here, like before, I save the back end of this climb, and I can come in at a reasonable point to get some decent FAL points off of that one. Same thing as the first lap, chills out a little bit between the two climbs here. There's a little bit of action off the front from one of the herd riders. They're racing it pretty smart. They're throwing people off the front here and there, never the same person, but just breaking it up. They had the best numbers in the front group. I think they had 4 in the front group the whole race. Here, I'm sliding off the back a little bit. I'm a bit concerned about getting dropped, but I did manage to get across with the front group. But then here, there was a burrito. second burrito, and then I think I get a third one here. And just frustrated with those burritos because it did make me use more energy than I wanted to on a downhill just to make sure that I stay with the group. Governor Street, it's the same thing here. Andrew leads us up the climb, and we're getting back down. We've got a group of like 11, 12. So the group is smaller and smaller. Each lap, we keep dropping more and more people. They're coming across the front banner here, going into the last lap. So this one's going to be a little bit different because there may be more effort on that last climb. Now we're going through the downhill here, some burritos being thrown, starting to get strung out a little bit, but still all together. And then we see here, Rick starts a little Pogacar attack off of the front. Now he's got a few seconds here, a few seconds there, just pushing it out more and more. No one's really bothering to chase much. One of the dirt teams had numbers, Herd had numbers, but everyone just sat in, and I think they were waiting for the climb, or maybe they were confident in their team result based on some of their FTS and FAL. But yeah, no one pushed too hard to catch, but still Rick was putting out good numbers at the front there. So by the time we get here to the bottom of this climb, he's at what 25 seconds. So that's going to be hard to pull back even with these two climbs. But it depends on how many matches he burned on that breakaway. But we don't seem to be making any ground on him. Here's the bottom, and like before, I don't want to be out in the front at the bottom of the climb. I want to sit in, take advantage of whatever draft I can towards the bottom of the climb before it gets too steep. And then when it turns up and gets steep on the cobbles, then I'll sort of start to put my effort in. And here I'm able to stay towards the front of this group, not get dropped. I think a few people did fall off the back on this last lap here. I just wanting to stay with this front group, get some FAL points in the top 10, and just be in a good position to get a good finish at the end of the day. So here we still haven't made up much ground. I think we're still 25 seconds between the two climbs. So 23 there. I'm able to get the Super Tuck here, and we're going to turn right and get back up 23rd Street. Here I was a bit worried about losing and falling off the back. There was a lot of effort put in here. You can see some people going really hard off the front and things getting really strung out, but didn't pull back too much time actually off of that one. But I was able to stick with this front group between the two climbs there. And so now I'll slow it down for the final climb here. Let's see, Rick's still got 16, 17 seconds. Andrew starts to push off the front. My goal here, I want to try to stick with that as much as possible. There's no point to try to save anything, just empty the tank and do whatever I can. See, we've got the people behind us, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds. So I'm feeling pretty confident at this point that I'll be able to stay on for third place. It would be nice to get up to second, but Andrew's really pushing a lot of power here. I was able to get a little close here. He drops the ghost. I can see the shadow going up the road, and I just didn't have anything left in the tank to really make that push. I really had emptied things on the climb. The rider from Z-Sun here behind me, 5 seconds. He's pushing hard. He's still got some gas left in the tank, and I'm just doing whatever I can to hold on just for that last podium spot. So there I had Roland third, Rick with the amazing breakaway win. Kudos to Rick. That was really impressive. I was pretty happy with my third. Team-wise, we came in around the mid-pack, 6th or 7th. Fortunately, it wasn't the best night for a couple of our riders, but we still put in a great effort, and it was a fun race. I really like that course. It's really interesting. Here's the top 10 from Swift Racing app. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you at the next one.